Hey friends, welcome back to Homeschool-ology. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for being here. If you're new here, my name is Nikki. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4. In the upcoming 23-24 school year, we will have an 8th grader, 4th grader, kindergartner, and preschooler, and it will be our 9th year of homeschooling. Today's video is a collaboration hosted by myself this go around, and it is with the Secular Homeschool Mom group here on YouTube. And today we are going to be sharing with you our planning tools. So it could be anything from planners that we're using, or how we set up a planner, or how we plan for the year ahead, or any kind of planning that we do for our upcoming school year. So I hope you'll come along and share with me, and then when you're done listening to my video, I would love it if you would go down to the description box and find that playlist and see what the other moms are sharing with you. Okay, so I am going to talk about planners at the end, but right now what we're going to do, I'm going to set up a dual screen here for you guys, and we are going to look at my process of these are all the curriculums we've decided to use for the year. How are we going to take all of these and schedule out our week? This is the subjects that we try to cover. So we definitely, of course, math and English language arts. Everything under here is still English language arts, and then we have history, science, and art, which are kind of the 3 that we kind of try to hit frequently. And then we have critical thinking, and I'm going to be doing some computer science with my older girls this year. And then this digital art down here is a digital class that my oldest is going to be taking. So I have shared, I'll link my playlist here. And there's also a playlist that a bunch of our secular homeschool moms shared as well. So I'll link that playlist down in the comments of our picks for the upcoming year. So this is what we have chosen. So now what we're going to do is then we're going to go through, I've already done my oldest. We are going to try to have a new kind of schedule this year. I've found that we tend to taper off throughout the week. We hit the books pretty hard Tuesday, Wednesday. Come Thursday, Friday, we're starting to taper off. So what I'm going to try to do this year is just realize that that's a pattern that for us, and try to front load our curriculum into basically 2 days. So if we don't hit that 3rd and 4th day for some reason, whatever reason it may be, that we're not losing out on a whole thing. We pretty much always have a weekly play date, and so I want to be able to factor in that time rather than trying to get everything done that we try to get done before that play date happens, because that doesn't ever happen, and then we end up not being on track. Which if you've been around a little bit at all, you know that that doesn't really concern me very much. Staying on track doesn't concern me. It gives us too much stress to try to stay on task, so it's not really something I work for. But what I'm going to try to do is do 2 heavy days and then 2 light days. We don't do homeschool on Monday because we have our co-op that we go to on Monday, and it's just getting up, getting ready for that, going to that, being there for the majority of the day, and then getting home. I've taught 2 or 3 classes. The kids have been in 2 or 3 classes. It's just been a long day. We're not ready to do anything else. So we are going to try this 2 full day, 2 half day schedule and see how that goes. I'm going to scroll down here and show you what I've developed for my oldest daughter, and then we're going to walk through it for my middle daughter. So this is what I have for her weekly schedule right now. This is all in Word, and I basically just make a table and then I color it in for. They like rainbow stuff, rainbow colored stuff. It makes their little hearts happy. So mine too, if I'm being honest. So that's typically what I do. So as you see, Mondays are going to be co-op days. If there's anything she doesn't get through during the week, the previous week, if she needs to do some things, I've added in this makeup time here for her to finish any assignment that she needs to finish before we start a new week. So because she's taking these, at least one online class, I wanted to make sure we factored in time to make sure she stays on top of that, because that is something that we can't really fall behind in. And then I am going to try to make a concerted effort to do our read alouds every day this upcoming year. We typically would only do it when we were doing school, and that meant, we were typically only doing 3 days a week of schooling, which meant that we were only doing our read alouts 3 days a week, which was taking forever for us to get through books. So what I'm going to do is, back in the past when I used to, you know, put my girls to bed, we would do our read aloud at that time when I was getting them ready for bed. So we're going to kind of go back to that a little bit. So once my littlest kids go to bed with dad, that's going to be our cue to sit down and do some read aloud time together, probably with both girls, like we did in the past, to try to get us reading a little bit more frequently, because I'd like us to read a little bit more frequently. So that is our plan for Mondays. We already know, we've been doing this for several years, co-op is about all we can handle on that day. So moving on to Tuesday and Wednesday, these are the days that I have loaded up pretty heavy. We're going to do the majority of what we're doing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those are days where we don't have a lot of things out of the house, and I'm going to try to keep it that way. And so that might mean that we're doing school most of the day, but I think I'm going to be okay with that, because we are going to leave Thursday and Friday as days where we can do other things. So she will be doing math, fix-it grammar, spelling connections, our lit guides, which we usually use Brave Writer, even though I have tried a few other, and we are going to try a few more. I have scheduled Fridays to have either lit guide or writing. Like, if we don't finish it all on one day, we can finish it on that day. The writing is going to be the writing workshop from Layers of Learning, and so that will be on Wednesdays. Then we are going to be doing history and science combined this year. I do have a video, I think it's going up next week, that's showing you exactly my plans for all of that. It might have come out before this video, but so she will be doing that 4 days a week. That is the one thing that is going to be consistently 4 days a week. Fix It Grammar is going to definitely be 4 days a week, because it's just a 4-day-a-week program. Rather than doubling up on it one day, we're going to go ahead and make it 4 days a week. So that is going to be the main chunk of her learning for this coming year, where a lot of this stuff, other stuff, is going to be tied into that. Art is going to be tied into that. So that is going to be like our main focus, and that is the one thing that she will do 4 days a week. My husband does typically have every other Friday off, and most of the time when he's home, we just don't get to homeschool. So I'm comfortable with it being like 3 days 1 week, 4 days the next. That's fine with me. That Florida virtual school class, I've put in here as 4 days a week. We've never done one before, so I don't know if she's gonna need all 4 days, but I'm gonna put it on here just in case she does. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we're gonna do some family things. So I have talked about it before, but we're gonna do Winnie the Pooh and Beatrix Potter, like family style literature lessons. So that's gonna be Tuesdays. Wednesdays, we're gonna do the philosophy for kids and fallacy detective, and root words, which I missed back up here. We do root words all together, so that's where that's gonna go. And then I've put the read alouds down at the bottom, because I'm hoping to do those before bedtime, which I've already discussed. So I do like to leave 1 or 2 boxes down at the bottom in case I feel like we need to write anything in later. And then I will print this out, and it will be just kind of like her guide. But right now what I want to do is kind of repeat this process for you for my middle daughter, so you guys can see how I decide to plug this in. So I'm going to copy this and hit Control Enter and paste a new one, and then I am going to, she's going to have co-op, she's going to have math, all of this is going to stay the same, except we're going to be doing Michael Clay Thompson. So this is where I'm kind of waffling back and forth here. I don't know, I'm going to go ahead and put MCT, I'm just going to call it MCT. Here, that's what I'm just going to, because I know for a fact we're going to be doing that. I kind of want to also do Fix It Grammar with her. So I'm going to add that in here. But I don't know if we are going to need it per se. I'm going to go ahead and add it here, but I don't know that for sure whether we're going to be doing it or not. She will definitely be doing root words with us when we do root words, so I'm going to put that on here. We do it together with older sisters, so I'm going to put it on the same day as before. And then over here, I guess we will put spelling. I don't know for sure if we, again, are going to need that. I haven't gotten the Michael Clay Thompson in my hands yet. So For her, the history and science is going to be very sporadic. She's only going to join in on those things with older sister. I may throw in some extra science along the way. So I'll just leave it as history and science like we have before, but she will not be having Florida virtual school. So I can go ahead and delete this entire row because she will not be doing that for sure. We are going to be working on typing and computer safety. So I'm going to leave that typing and computer science here as well. This is family stuff we're going to do as well. I'm going to leave the read alouds. So I will go ahead and add in one more box just so that it looks similar to her older sister. So that's the first step that I do. I look at all of my things. How many days a week are we going to do these? What kind of time commitment do we need for that? Once I've done that, I will go down with my, I think I'm going to make 2 this year. I usually only do my oldest daughter because my younger daughter will just like join in on some of the things that are on there, and we just kind of go through that list, and when she needs to join in, she joins in. And the only other 2 things that she religiously does was this past year was pinwheels and math. But since things are changing a little bit, I think I'm going to go ahead and make her own checklist for the week. We are post planners around here, which means we don't write down what we're going to do in our planner. We write down what we did in our planner. But I do want something that my children can come and have that is their own, and so that they don't necessarily need me to tell them what to do next. They have a checklist that they can go through, and they say, I've done this, so I move on to this, and I've done this, and so I move on to this. So we do kind of do a flow, but they get kind of bored if we do it the same pattern every week. So I'd rather just have a checklist and let them choose where they check off what they're going to check off. So since I've done this last year, I'm going to pull that one up and copy and paste it into this file so that I don't have to go through all that formatting again. So give me just a second for that. Okay, I'm going to show you something real quick because I always forget how to do it and I have to look it up every single time. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, and maybe by teaching you, it will help me to remember. But if you want some of your document to be landscape and some of your document to be portrait, what you do is you go to your layout tab, you go to breaks, and then you're going to hit the section break and then say next page. So from here on out, this is going to be different formatting, and then you can go and change it to portrait, and one of them, this one will be, now the rest of the document is going to be portrait. If you want to change it back, you do another section break. A lot of this is going to stay the same, so I'm going to leave it the same, except that here she's just going to do lessons 1, 2, 4, and then we're just going to repeat this. She's only going to do 3 math lessons a week, so we're going to leave it like that. Fix-it grammar will stay the same. Read and write a sentence, or read and do a sentence, a sentence, and then a sentence and rewrite. So if you don't know, Fix-it grammar has like a sentence that you edit and then you rewrite it at the bottom of the page. She hates writing, so the compromise that we made is that she has to write 1 sentence a week rather than all 4 of them. I'm fine with that. So that's what we do there. Reading, I'm going to make sure we do 5 days a week, so I'm going to leave that there. Word roots, whatever lesson we're on, philosophy, whatever the question is, all of that is staying the same. So I think instead of calling these lessons, I'm going to just say page, because I think this is more of a page, like it's a unit per week or something like that. So I'm just going to put page for this instead of what lesson it is. And then let's see, we are not doing writing literature anymore. So I'm going to put in lit guide / writing, because that's kind of like our block, is that lit guide or writing. History and science are going to be together this coming year. So I'm going to put history / science. This is now going to become, we need a computer science class, and then so math, fix-it grammar, spelling connections, lit guide, history / science, the computer science, and then we need one for family, in her Florida virtual school class. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back here and add in a row underneath here. I'm going to just merge these cells together because I don't want to change that necessarily. This is only going to be 3 days a week now that I'm thinking about it. I do need to add in spacing there. After, I think it's 12. Okay, so this is now going to become FLVS class. And then instead of having this there, I'm going to copy and paste this so that she knows that she needs to do it, but it's not necessarily like what, so I'm going to change the color of this. So as you can see, this is what her weekly checklist will be. This way I can give it to her and say, this is what you need to accomplish this week, and she can decide on the order that she does each lesson each day, and she'll just check off one box. This is all blanks here so that I can write in what needs to be done for that week. Basically what I do is I print this out front and back, this page as the front and this page as the back, and then I laminate that sheet, and then we can just write on it with wet erase markers. That is my secret weapon for lamination projects, is use wet erase, not dry erase. The dry erase is much harder to get off than the wet erase. And so we just laminate and use wet erase, and you can use it over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, so let's talk planners. Usually, I just go and get a planner, like a simple planner. I like this simplified planner. This is a student planner. So it is from July to June. So we do homeschool like August to July, like that's our year we're on homeschool. And so what I do is I just start in August, and then I go back and adjust the July tab to be the next July. Like I just adjust the numbers and stuff. I only have to do it for 1 month, so that worked fine. These are relatively inexpensive, and that's kind of why I used them. So it's just got a calendar spread, so the whole month spread, and then it's got a weekly spread like this. And so I always really liked this because it had like 2 boxes, so I could do my oldest daughter and my middle daughter. What happened was, now I'm out of boxes because there's only 2 boxes, and so I had to get a second planner, and then I'm having to keep up with 2 planners and rewrite things, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So what I think I've decided to do is go with Homeschool or School Nest homeschool lesson planner notebook. But what I did was I really liked this new design, and I really liked the green cover, and so I picked up this one, and then I got it, and I realized that it's not the minimalist notebook that I wanted. It is literally not quite twice the size, but it's much larger than the smaller one, and so I was like, well, that's not what I wanted. So I went ahead and picked up the smaller minimalist one. I figured since I had both of them on hand, I would take a quick second and show you how they are different on the inside. But if I choose this one, which I think is the one that I'm going to choose, I am going to go with the minimalist one because I just simply don't want something this big and bulky to have to deal with. Okay, so sorry for a little bit of the shadow there. I still haven't found a good way to do a down view of anything yet. But so basically, I'm just going to kind of flip through page by page and show you how these differ. So in the very beginning, it's exactly the same. Still the same field trips page, attendance page, curriculum overview, curriculum overview, curriculum overview.
That's a lot.
And then we move into our book list, and then book list, Then we have the curriculum progress. All of this has been the same. And then we get into the month. This is the same exact thing, a full month layout. It continues. So this one has a full month layout and then a month in review. Same over here. So I've reached the end of the monthly spreads. Every monthly spread was a whole month. Let me go back here. A whole month page, and then this month in review page. So that it was the same all the way throughout. I do want to point out though that this, even though they both have 12-month calendars in them, this one only has 42 weeks of weekly plans, and this one has 52 weeks of weekly plans. So once we pass the monthly, we get this, and you can see it is the same weekly overview with weekly goals or notes and scheduling pages here. So this is where you would write down any activities or things that you have outside of the home on there. And then this is a weekly plan page. It is the same over here. This is where it differs. So in the larger book, you get this daily details page. And over here in this smaller book, you do not. You go straight from the weekly plan into the next weekly overview. So this is an extra page. You get, I guess, 1, 2, 3 of those, and then a weekly reflections page. So the reason that this one is bigger but has less weeks in it is because you get those added extra pages. I don't see myself using these added extra pages, so I don't think this is the one for me, even though I like the cover better. So I will just be sticking with this one, because really all I need is some notes to take for scheduling and such, and this page right here. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes. So it's 7 by 6 boxes, and you can. It's completely unlabeled, so you can use, lay it out any way that you want. So if you want to do it by child, I have 4 children. That would be, helpful. And then I have these 2 boxes I could do our family subjects. One child, 2 child, 3 child, 4 child. Family subjects, and still have a box for notes, which is probably how I'll end up using it. So this is, I think, what I'm going to go with, because I like the spread, I like the aesthetic. The paper is good. It's not cheap paper, but I've, in doing my research, pens do bleed a little bit through them, and you can there's a lot of shadowing that I don't love, but I think it's going to be fine. There's shadowing in the other ones too, the basic ones. But this paper that you get in a planner from Target is much thicker and nicer, in my opinion. So, but I do think this is going to be okay for us. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to go have the spine cut off and then use it as a spiral notebook, or if I'm going to go ahead and leave it. I saw somebody that just said to just, really massage your crease, and then it will lay mostly flat for you. So I may or may not just go ahead and do that and keep it bound the way. That's what I'm leaning towards right now, trying it out that way. And if I feel like I can't stand it, I'll go get it spiral bound, because I do much prefer spiral binding. So since I haven't set any of this up yet, I will eventually go in and set all this up, but I do like all this stuff at the beginning, and it's very homeschool friendly. It doesn't have seating charts, and it doesn't have all those things. I hated buying teacher lesson plans because it had all these things that I didn't need, and I felt like it was just a waste of space for me. So that's why I always picked up a student notebook, but then the student notebook or planner book didn't give me enough boxes for what I needed. But what we basically do is go in after, I try to do it every day. I would be lying if I said I did it every day. Pretty much at the end of every week, I go in and I write down what we did. I use that paper that has the checklist. So this is last year's. I use the paper from the checklist where she's checked everything off, and I go in and I write it into my planner, and this is what I present for my portfolio review. This is my record of what we did for the week. So that is kind of how we do planning and probably how I'm going to continue to do planning. All right, so that is basically my planning process. That is how I go from this is what I've chosen to use to this is how we're going to use it in a couple of really technically simple steps. Getting it set up the first go around might be a little complicated, but now it's basically literally, you saw, it's basically just copy and paste and fill in the new information for me. So that is what I do, and I think that's all I have to share with you guys today. So thank you to all the moms who are joining in on this collaboration. I'm excited to see what they are sharing and how they set their things up. Some of these ideas I must admit that I've gotten from some of these ladies before in the past, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Don't forget that link to that playlist is down below in the description box. While you are down there, if you have any comments or any questions you'd like to ask, leave them down below. And I hope you will come back and chat with me again real soon. Don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram at Homeschool-ology. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.